Hi everybody, Raging back with another Mechabellum video. In today's video, I'm going to show you how I play the Tarantula and HIGH MMR games. And I'll have two games for you today. We'll go over this first one, so this will be like a recap. I'll explain my logic of why I'm doing what I'm doing. And then in the next one, it will just be a live game that I played on Twitch stream. So starting out here, I have the Farseer Specialist with the Tarantulas and the Fangs. My opponent is a Quick Supply Specialist with Sledgehammers and Marksmen. Sledgehammers and Marksmen are pretty good against the Tarantulas. The Marksman is probably one of the best units against the Tarantula since it actually has enough damage on round 1 to kill the Tarantula, which has 15.6k health, one of the strongest, tankiest starting units. I also opt to go with some crawlers here, and I just place them behind. And both these games will be in the aggro position. My opponent picks up some more marksmen and some arc lights. And I've seen people play this way. This is a pretty effective way of beating the Tarantula on round 1 at the cost of not deploying chaff. So the Tarantulas together here on the right are definitely doing some work. The Fangs on the outside are distracting this marksman long enough for this Tarantula to be able to take the tower, kill a couple marksmen. It feels like the goal with the early rounds with the Tarantula is to try and get some levels on them, since they really shine once they hit level 2. But we won't have enough damage to actually kill the rest. So the first round goes to my opponent. Round 2, we have some pretty good choices. I could go with the Missile Strike, but my opponent has spread his units out enough where I'll basically only be able to kill one marksman. My opponent goes with the Advanced Missile Device, which is also pretty good since Advanced Missile Device makes the Sentry Missiles do 15,000 damage, and that almost one-shots level 1 Tarantulas. And I do skip. So on round 2, my opponent goes with some Mustangs back here. I guess he's just, maybe he's worried about like a Wasp play or something. I pick up another Tarantula and another pack of crawlers, and something I like to do with the Tarantula is surround my opponent on their flanks. So I opt to go with a shallow flank attack here with the Tarantula. I also level my tower to 2 so that it won't be cheesed, and that's my whole turn. Again, I like to keep these Tarantula games very simple. I think that they're good enough to just spam a little bit. These are my texts, by the way, in case anyone's wondering, here on the bottom. So the big thing about round 2 here for me is that this Tarantula hits level 2, even though we're still losing. That level 2 Tarantula will be huge. And we do take out a marksman here with the flank, but now my Tarantula is dead. So we lose round 2. This is something also that you'll find in my games, is I like to sort of charge up my board. I'm not so concerned with losing these early rounds. Just try to, mitigate as much damage as I can just to get units in place. Opponent on round 3, the unit round, goes with the Fortress. One of my favorite units to pair with the Tarantula is the Phoenix. So what I'm trying to figure out right now is if I want to go Fortress or Phoenix. I'm not sure how to use the Phantom Ray yet, so I very rarely take it. On this round, my opponent finally picks up a couple packs of crawlers, and we'll be leveling a few units here, this marksman. And I'm still deciding. But the Phoenix is really good. I also get my free Farseer this turn. And you can see that my opponent is now using the Advanced Missile Device to start trying to hit these Tarantulas. He will hit this one, but actually this missile device will hit this Fang. I'm not sure if he thought it would hit the Tarantula, but it won't. But I do go with the Phoenix. Level 3 Phoenix on round 3 is really strong. And I do sort of have to be worried about anti-air on the fortress, but not this round. So it should be pretty strong for now. Also get another flanking Tarantula here in the top part of my opponent's board. And I still have 200 supplies. So I pick up the speed and the attack enhancement. You can see that the advanced missile device almost kills this Tarantula. But now that this Tarantula is level 2, we'll keep our eye on this guy. Flanking Tarantula up here is pretty good. Our flank down on the bottom left has died now. So the level 3 Phoenixes are sniping down the fortress. Yes, my Tarantula falls, but it was able to tank long enough for the Phoenixes to take out the fortress. Tarantula now is taking the tower, and this should be a round win. Since these guys over here on the left are stuck on my level 2 tower. He's also leveled to level 2 here. But we have a little more damage with the level 3 Phoenix. So we finally take a round on round 3. And now the way that I play the Tarantula will really start to come into focus here. This haste module is, in my opinion, one of the best units that, or I'm sorry, one of the best items that you can put on the Tarantula. Because the first tech that I generally take is Mech Rage. And I haven't seen a lot of people do that, but this is pretty much is always the first one I go with, especially when I have Phoenixes on the board. So they sort of will run forward and be like short range, and the Phoenixes will be my long range unit. My opponent goes with anti-air on the marksman, and I think that's a little premature since I'm only showing one Phoenix. I think that maybe even going like anti-barrage on the fortress is better, but I guess he's worried about the Phoenix here. My opponent also sticks a Rhino up here to try and deal with this level 2 Tarantula. I get some more spiders, and I'm developing another flank. And there it is. There's the Mech Rage and the speed. And so this guy is moving at 20 meters per second now with all of that stuff. How speedy he is. This Tarantula's taken out the Rhino. And this Tarantula down here, now that it has more damage and speed, is able to shoot faster, take out the tanks more efficiently, and actually kill the fortress. So now it's going pretty well for us, actually, right? This Tarantula is getting good experience. Really want him to level 3. And there's a level 2 marksman here to feed on. So we should hit level 3. Okay, nice. You can see the way I pair the Phoenix with the Mech Rage Tarantulas. Sort of like my high damage on the Phoenix, and then everything else just runs forward. Advanced power system, so now I have even faster Tarantulas. And my opponent, he doesn't have enough chaff. He needs fangs, honestly. He needs to like stop the progress of these speedy Tarantulas, and he just hasn't really been doing it. So now I take the spider mines, sort of try and really start to seal the deal here. Opponent picks up Overlords. Since I have very little anti-air, I just have the Farseer and the Phoenix. Also, on the last round, he did pick up this anti-air on the marksman, but it didn't even kill the Phoenix. So like I was saying, I don't think that that's the best thing to do against that. Probably just maybe more fortresses with anti-air. In this game, I'm 1950 MMR, and my opponent is not far behind that. So I picked up a couple units of chaff on this round, as well as the spider mines. And I'm just sort of like adding to these flanks, right? Like I just want to distract his units long enough for these guys to do stuff. So now let's see how these spider mines do. Now this Tarantula moves at 23 meters per second with the speed. This is a very simple build, right? Like it's just fast Tarantulas, some high-level Phoenixes, and crawlers to distract most of his units. You click Mech Rage first, just to get, like, it makes him walk faster and shoot faster. They're able to gain levels that way. And then you throw out the spider mines, and your phoenixes should be able to take care of any air units like this. Right. This is going very well for us now. So when you take round 5 now as well, a very decisive round, pretty good damage. Few options here. Vulcan doesn't look good for me on aggro. Typhoon is an idea, but I don't necessarily need Typhoon, since the only thing that's really good against is the Overlords, and it's really not that good against Overlords. The Sandworm is sort of sticking out to me. I can take some towers, but my Tarantulas are already sort of tanky and are doing that. And so the Melting Point is kind of sticking out to me here. My opponent does take the Typhoons to act as a barrier against this quick push that I have on the right side. And he's grabbed the barrier as well. Wants to buy some time for the Fortress maybe to take out these Tarantulas. Not a terrible idea. He's opting to missile my Tarantulas more. Wants to try and stop them. I do go with the Melting Point. And in this position, because of the Overlords and the level 2 tower, there's a lot of times where I would sell this Melting Point, but I'm actually going to use it, since it's pretty tanky, and I'm betting that he won't develop on the left side here. Sell the Farseer for a little extra money. Figure I don't need it since I have the Melting Point now. Also grab a couple extra Phoenixes, chuck some range on them. Defending my flanks now that the Farseer's not here with a couple missiles. And I take the Lone, the range, and the speed since I'm pushing for the win. Add another Tarantula to the left side. Go with the defense enhancement. All right, let's see how this goes. So now he's got problems on the left. And honestly, the right side is still doing really well, even with the Typhoons and their barriers. And he does finally take out a single Phoenix, but there's so much stuff. Like, the spider mines and everything are really hard to deal with. And so this is a win. And it's a very simple build. And it's easy to replicate. So obviously don't replicate it one for one. You have to, like, build in a way that makes sense against what your opponent is doing. But what my opponent really should have been doing in this game to try and stop these spiders from pushing so fast up to him is he had no chaff on the left. I'm not really sure what was going on, but he had 3 packs of crawlers the whole game, and really what you need is like a lot of fangs to play against the Tarantula. And again, this is a high MMR game, and even my opponent plays against me this way. So anybody who's climbing the ladder should be able to use this strategy fairly effectively. Just create a box around your opponent here on the flanks and line up on the front. If your opponent tries to flank you or anything like that, you can just sort of missile them out or level these towers and maybe add some crawlers or something. The Tarantula is like good enough and fast enough where it will get in and take your enemy's towers super fast. And like, I even consider possibly taking range enhancement off the Tarantula just because of the way that I play with the Phoenixes and the spiders. Like, you could run field maintenance and that just makes them even tankier, right? Or armor or something. Like armor up here, if your opponent is going heavy on Mustangs in the back, obviously they would do 0 damage to this Tarantula if it had armor. So those are some other ideas. But just nice and solid, right? Like, just make the cage, give them the speed, pair them with the Phoenix, and run forward and defeat your opponent. So now I'll leave you with another Tarantula game that I played on stream against Druski, who is another streamer on Twitch. He streams pretty much every day of the week, and I will link his Twitch channel in the description below for you guys to check him out. I want to give a huge shout out to everybody in this community. We recently passed 250 subscribers, which I never thought that this channel would ever get. So A huge thanks to everybody, seriously. You are all amazing, and you make this hobby of YouTube worth it every single day. Now I will leave you with the final game against Druski. Again, his channel will be linked in the description below. Thank you so much, and have a fantastic day. Druski's such a nice guy. Let's see. What's he gonna do? He doesn't really play aggro, right? He's Farseer Spesh. Maybe we'll push him. Maybe we'll push him. I'm always pushing in this game. Let's just see how that does. Looks like it'll work pretty well. Salt Stormcallers? Curious. Flanking crawlers. Do we still win the round? I think we do. We've got too many spiders left. Get a couple levels on the spiders. Absorption module is pretty good, right? Isn't it? Absorption module? Where do we have chaff problems? Honestly, here. I'll just kind of put this guy here for a sec. And I'll protect that tower too. No, we'll at least kill the crawlers for this turn, and then I can kind of try to do more with this Typhoon soon. I just wanted to kill this and then, like, assist later. The thing is, the Farseer is going to be kind of tough. We'll see. Druski goes with the Amp Core and puts it on this Tarantula. Just trying to stay solid here. Alright, this Tarantula is really good. Might get that tower. Okay. And this Tarantula probably has what it takes, right? Actually, oh, nice. I actually like the marksman pull. That's the one guy I had to worry about. Alright, we got a level 3 guy. It's not Wraith, because he has the Farseer. Phoenix? Looks good. So what do I get first? Is it just Mech Rage? That's crazy, right? Could be good, though. Close the distance? Or is it just range? I think with Mech Rage it's better. And then my Phoenixes can sort of be... my range? Instead? I will even speed. And also, if we can get this guy locked up for a little while, I think that's pretty good. I don't want to do this. He's going oil. And he has a big scorpion now. He's on us. Wow, I actually got him. Very nice. These guys are speedy, though. Yeah. So oil definitely slows us down. I think I'm going to do this deployment module on this dude. And I can stick him up here because he's already loaded in. He, you know, he doesn't need to teleport back in. So you should be able to just take out the Farseer and be behind all these units now. And I need some chaff here. Almost, I think I want to run the Tarantula this way. At least until the oil is done. try that. Okay, so it goes HE on Tarantula. Yeah, look at this dude. Yeah, now it's behind him. Crazy. I guess we just played very solid. I liked his Scorpion play. He put it in the perfect spot and it like locked on last turn immediately. But also the addition of the Phoenixes was difficult on the last round. And Typhoons just kind of acted as defense. I didn't really like using them that way. Seemed like a waste, but it's okay. The Tarantulas did pretty well. The deployment module up here was brutal. Then I replaced the old Tarantula with a new one.